That's good, people. We're here once more for another pregame show where we take a look at the lineup and debate whether Graham Potter has made the right selections or whether it would have been better off with some other players starting the game. So, excuse me, I'm not sure about the lineup yet, but we'll see in about a few minutes. We should have it here, probably out already. I'm sure a lot of leaks on Twitter, but I like to start talking about it once I have it on my screen. And right now, I'm probably still seeing the probable lineup. I have that one there from Fatma, and I have this one here from is that the correct lineup here? Nope, not yet. I think that's probably the probable lineup. So let's see in a bit. We'll have it up there. But on Twitter, I'm sure there's already a leak as to what player is starting and what player isn't starting. But that's, by the way, who do we have here already? Big up to you, Francis Winters. I hope you're doing well. Come on, you Blues. Let's go. Let's get another win today and make it 4 in a row. Build our confidence before we get to meet Real Madrid. Let's go, Rahayu, Nasi, Briani, Rahayu, nice to see you, brother. Hopefully, let's see what we go. Let's go. You can wait. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. And if you're watching, let me know whether you're looking for you're looking forward to this one. Whether you're nervous, what you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to win this one, or do you think we're going to lose this one? Whatever you think. You let me know your thoughts in the chat. I want to know RJ and Felix starting. I know there are already leaks, but I don't like talking about the lineup until I have it up here. But unfortunately for me, yeah, it will keep happening like that. Let's see whether it still shows still the probable lineup showing here. I'm gonna check the Fifth Stand app. Usually these are all leaks. The lineup usually comes out 1 hour before kickoff, and that's about 6 minutes from now. But that's by the way. But keep talking about it if you have it there. According to my secret source, I was waiting for you to say that. So if you think, I want to get your thought before the game starts proper. If you think we're gonna win this one, you let me know why you think we're gonna win it. If you think we're gonna lose it, you let me know why we're gonna lose it. For me, I'm still not quite sure. I get it. If we win this one, it'll be 4 in a row. Even with 3 wins in a row, I'm still not sure what to get from this team. But let's see what happens. Come on, you Blues. Come on, you too. I hope you're doing well. Ish H, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. He says he thinks it's going to be 3-0 Chelsea. Interested. Let's see. But one thing that gives me hope, I think if we're going by the insights that we've looked at during the previous show, I think the worst result we can get out of this would be a draw. And that is the fact that Everton, they haven't won an away match in their last 11 matches. So it would take some awful poor performance for us not to come out with not to come out, let's say, at least with a draw in this one. But I hope we'll win. It says they have scored 4 goals in their last 5 matches. I think we scored more than that. In our last 3 matches, we scored how many goals? About 5 goals or so, or 6 actually. So what gives me hope is this: it will never, whatever happens, I strongly believe that it will never come to a point where we're not going to get at least a draw. But I'm looking for a win. A win will go a long way for us. But let's see what happens. They're still waiting for the lineup to update. We are going to win because fans are tired of Potter saying and the players gave it everything. Do you think that alone will be enough for us to get a win today? Here's the thing: something I saw online that surprised me. I noticed that during the press conference that he went from saying we're going to win the FA Champions League to saying we're going to try to win it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's, by the way, that's the list of my concerns. At least he's changing for good, and I want to see more of that. And the players gave it up, maybe, or maybe because we have enough good players available to be selected and for them to come out on top. But seriously, though, I think Potter wouldn't change much with his winning formula. Havertz false 9 on a normal attack, on a normal attack mode, a deeper role during the counter. This should work out. Hazard has been excellent whenever he finds himself in a different position. gets the ball, he usually does something nice with it. So I look forward to seeing what happens there. Let me see if the fifth stand up has the lineup out. Or maybe we'll have to wait until these guys update their lineup there. Let me see. Fifth stand up. Okay, there you go. Let me check if it has the lineup there. Let me see. Let me see. Come on, come on, come on. And I want to know what's the result. Matt sent lineups not yet out. Yeah, I don't think it's out yet, but it should be out in about 2 minutes probably. We'll wait for it. But that's the least of my concern. And Kimso says, if we have a fully fit Kante, we will win the Champions League. I believe you. I think the lineup is out here. Yep. Why is this guy's not updating this? So let me see. Yeah, that's the lineup on the fifth stand up. Let me see what we have here. Okay, the three go. Where's the starting 11? Or is this just? It's not clear whether this is the starting lineup. So let me see. No, it doesn't look like it, but it should be out now because they have the whole goalkeeper lined out at the same time. Find out more. Introduce us from the CSE maybe later. Let me see. Give me a second, please. I want to see the lineup here. I'm going to go back here again. Refresh this guy here to see whether it shows us the lineup. Okay, let's go back here. It should be up now, just a minute before time. Still probable lineup showing up here. Yeah, I hope we win the Champions League, and N'Golo Kante being fully fit, that will go a long way for us. So this isn't specifically saying whether that's the lineup. It just showed all the goalkeepers: Slonina, Bettinelli, Arrizabalaga. Where is the starting 11? I am looking for the starting 11, and I haven't seen anything similar to that. Yeah, but if you're in the chart, why we wait for that to reflect on the screen? I want to get your thoughts. What are your expectations? What you expect to see? Do you think we can win it? As for me, I'm going to keep saying this. I'm not quite sure what to get from this team, so I cannot predict. But I do. Oh no, Mudryk got left out. Mm. Who was that? Who was that suspected he was going to be left out of the starting 11? I think was it Bobby Fairview. Was it Bobby Fairview? I think so. How are you saying Potter out? You're not happy that Mudryk isn't starting? Well, let's see. He gets a chance. I think maybe, possibly thinking the thinking behind that must have been the fact that I think is the lineup out here. Possibly because maybe he feels like Mudryk will struggle against a low block. Because the notion, or you can say the stereotype, is that he's only effective when he has space to operate. And against Everton, the belief is that they will defend deep, and maybe he doesn't feel like he's capable of helping us get. He's going to be effective in that. He's going to be effective against Everton. But let's see. I want to see the lineup on the screen. I'm not sure if this is the starting 11 here. It looks like it's just saying Mudryk got left out, and the lineup you're looking at is what's his name? Christian Pulisic started, because I'm seeing the one I'm seeing. It looks like this is a starting 11 here. Kepa Arrizabalaga between the sticks. The back three is on the left, Benoit Badiashile, centrally Kalidou Koulibaly. On the right hand side, Wesley Fofana, 2 6s, Mateo Kovacic, and Enzo Fernandez. Ben Chilwell starts in the left wing back position. Reece James, right wing back position. And centrally, number 9, Kai Havertz, Joao Felix on the left, and to his right is to right of Kai Havertz is Christian Pulisic. So I'm thinking that looks about it. I think that may well be the lineup. My second name is Mudryk FC. Sorry about that. I want to see. Let this reflect. Come on, what's going on here? It hasn't really. Let's see what happens here. I really want to see. I want to see the lineup here. Yep, there you go. So Christian Pulisic starts over Mihailo Mudryk, Joao Felix on the right hand side, and Kai Havertz centrally. We knew that he wasn't going to change anything in terms of the sixes, 2 6s, and I suspected Badiashile would start over Kukureya for height and to deal with the aerial threat of the Everton side and also physicality. But here is where I have a problem here. I have a problem really with this 11. I don't think. Let's see how he does. But my argument has always been, I believe that Felix will struggle in this game. I hope to be proven otherwise because he's on the pitch. Because if he does well, the team does well. But I didn't expect Felix to start, and I wouldn't have started him if I was what's his name if I was Graham Potter. As per okay, 3-4-3 flat. They've changed the structure. But as per what's his name? Christian Pulisic starting, I trust him whenever he's on the pitch. One thing you can get from him is that he always gets into the box. And you can say on his day, 6 times at least out of 10, he puts the chances away as long as you can find them. But let's see how he performs today. But I'm still saying I wouldn't have started Joao Felix in this game. I'm not sure. Kai, over time, he's adapted to the physicality of the Premier League. But Christian Pulisic, no. But let's see. Everything isn't about physicality. He makes good runs in behind the defensive line. But these guys are going to defend deep. I'd be surprised if they do anything if they don't defend deep. Felix, too, I think will struggle. I hope that's not the case. Yeah, essentially, let's see what plans he has in place as to dealing with the 3 recognized defensive midfielders that Everton is starting here, and they're going with a 4-5-1 structure. So, your thoughts with the lineup and what you make of the 3 up front, the 3 men up front. How you think they'll perform today? No physicality in the midfield or attack. Exactly, that's my point. To me, that's a concern, really. But I want to take a look at the players he has on the bench to see how that is. If Porter gives the same instructions for Gallagher to Kante, we will be dangerous, really. Let's see who we have on the bench here. On the bench, we have Mihailo Mudryk, Noni Madueke, Connie Chukwuemeka, Conor Gallagher, N'Golo Kante is on the bench. So we expect, again, he probably gets a few minutes today, 10 to 15 minutes at least. Conor Gallagher on the bench, Loftus-Cheek on the bench, Kukureya on the bench, Trevor Chalobah on the bench, and Marcus Bettinelli on the bench. Aubameyang, we expected that he will not be on the bench because he has an injury. He has, Aubameyang has a back injury, so it's not he doesn't make the bench today. But I still would not have started Felix. I still would not have started maybe Christian Pulisic right now, but I trust him. The question is, when these guys defend deep, how are these two? What is he going to do? I think he's able. One good thing we can get from Christian Pulisic today, he's able to run at the opposition with the ball, and on his day, he can actually orchestrate good dribbles and progress the ball even in tight spaces. But let's see whether he's able to do that. But seriously, Mudryk, I would have started Mudryk over Joao Felix. I think he's a fine dribbler too, but unfortunately for him, he's been stereotyped as just a pace merchant, which I think is very wrong. If you know him too well, you know he's a good dribbler too. Should have played Zakaria for physicality. Yep, I agree. We should have mixed it up a bit. But if you've heard me talk about Graham Potter, I've always argued nearly all the time that he's not the type really to go with any player being defensively minded. He wants them to play, to have a good interplay between the two of them, attack as a unit. And seeing them, I haven't seen these two defend as a unit. If anything, they leave a lot of spaces here in front of the back 3, which if the opposition has good shooters, anytime anything they get goes from outside the box against us. So we see. Let's see how they assort themselves or how well they do today. We got a strong back line. The back line, I don't have a problem with. The back line, but the back line will still suffer if these two guys aren't doing enough to protect them. If anytime the opposition, here's something, my observations, even from the 3 games we've won, something I've observed is this. we don't win too many balls in the midfield area. We only get the chance to win the ball once it gets to the defense, or win the balls on the flanks by Chilwell or Reece James. These two guys, that it's not the reading the game, breaking up opposition the play, and winning the ball are also protecting the defense isn't their strongest suit. If anything, two of them are actually more like the other, except one is a better creator and will get you more goals, and the other is a better dribbler and will progress the ball no matter how many people you have on him. If that makes sense. Defensively, we're solid, but if the opposition keeps getting at them without the 2 6s doing enough to break up the play, or at least protect them, if that's a language you understand better, then we'll see an error from them. Let's see what we have here. I smell a loss. I hope that doesn't happen, but I get where you're coming from, Coach. I call 1-0 Everton win. Wow. I honestly do not want to lose this game, because if we lose, it's downhill again for Graham Potter. The fans will start turning against him again, and I don't want that to happen. I want my team to continue doing well, even though I have questions with regards to his tactical ability. But that's by the way. Here we have, I think we can keep a clean sheet with this back three. But the question you want to ask yourself, where's the protection going to come from? Yeah, that's a question I really do want to ask. Because I'm going to say this again. The behavior of our 2 6s off the ball has always been a huge concern for me. We literally don't do anything to stop the opposition in the central area until the ball gets to the defense. That's when we get the ball. And that has been the reason why we see our defenders emerging as the top-rated players in nearly, again, all the games we played on the ground, Potter, if that makes sense. But let's see what happens. 1-0 Everton. Okay, let's see. Tell me why you think Everton are going to win this one. I honestly, sincerely do want to know. And if you're just joining us, please, if you haven't, take a second, drop a like on the stream, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. 1-0 Everton. Okay, says somebody there. Let's see what happens. Watch us lose to Everton. We need points. Okay, you watch us lose to Everton. We need points. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Just give me 1 second here. Let me type something. Okay, I'm surprised you're saying we're going to lose to Everton. I hope we're done. Guys, don't say it out loud. We don't want to hear GP saying Everton is a well-prepped team, or boys give everything. I do not want to see that either. Let's see, give them the possession and let's counter. How is that going to work? Because by default, I expect Everton to sit deep. So how are we going to give them the possession? It's confusing, but let's see what happens. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to do something that helps us get more likes here. Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes people need to be reminded about that. I will. Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So this is, I don't know how we're going to do that, really. Who? You mean right wing back? RWB, you mean? That's Reece James. Let me do this so that you can see it. Maybe if I go on the side here. Look at the lineup here. We have a Kepa Arrizabalaga between the 6. Koulibaly leads the back three. He's central. To his left is Badiashile. To his right is Fofana. That's a selection I wanted to see. But why Badiashile? Some people argue that what's his name, Kukure, has been in brilliant form. That is the truth. That is the truth. But the fact that Everton, they're excellent aerially, that again, set pieces their thing. You know who their manager is, Sean Dyche. We need height there at least to be able to deal with that. Let's see. Essentially we have a Kovacic and Enzo Fernandez to the left wing back, Chilwell, right wing back, Reece James, and the front three centrally Havertz, to his left, Felix to his right is Christian Pulisic. If you're following that, Let's see what we have here. Everton has a lot of height in the midfield. Yep. And they're all physical too. These are three DMs. All of them traditionally are defensive midfielders. Idrissa Gueye, Abdullahi Dokore, and Odo Onana. All of them are, if that makes sense. Let's see, what do we have here? No more Tuchel tactics. Use offensive players. Let's see what he does. We keep the ball, and our defense will be safe. If we keep the ball, I agree with you. Gallagher is a good ball winner. But here's the thing with Gallagher, whenever he's on the pitch, there's a bit of confusion in our team, if that makes sense. 2-1 Everton win. Wow. We need points. I am tired of the toxicity. We have to win. I agree with you. Big up to you to Santiago Muno. Good. Potter did use common sense with Badia Sheila. Pulisic for Mudryk is a no-brainer, tactically better, and naturally inside forward. Mudryk gives nothing when he plays. When we play wing backs, yeah, because he's traditionally a winger. But he was, again, you could say he was effective in the last game, I would say that. That back three looks fantastic. Bombastic is set. Koulibaly, sometimes very, very sloppy. Has he been sloppy of late? That's the question I want to ask you. I think he's been excellent of late. If anything, he hasn't put a foot wrong. If that makes sense. I'm going to come to you right away. Daniel, how are you? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Your thoughts on the lineup? Would you have done anything differently? And if you're in the chat, do let me know if you would have done anything differently. So, Daniel, you have the floor. Your thoughts on the lineup?
How are you? How's everybody doing?
I'm good. I can't complain, brother. I can hear you clearly now. Thank you. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm great. So for my
Excellent.
thoughts on the lineup, um,
Uh-huh.
I think the back three is perfect, and I've seen chemistry grow between this back three in a couple of games. Koulibaly
Mm-hmm.
looks more comfortable going into Premier League games. I think he's getting used to the pace of the Premier League. I've wanted to
Mm-hmm.
see Benoit Badiashile come back into the starting lineup, though it has been good for Marco Corella to increase his form and his confidence, but I think we're a stronger back three with Benoit Badiashile in the lineup. He's been a standout player for Chelsea since he
Mm-hmm.
came to the club. It's good to see Ben Chilwell. It's good to see Reece James back into the starting 11. Let's hope that his injury problems are behind him because he's very important to how we play, how we attack. And I think he's one of the best players in our team right now. But I have a little bit of disappointment when it comes to the front three here because I really wanted to see Kai Havertz deploy in the supporting striker role again and not at the top of the attack. I think Kai is not the focal man that we need. I wanted to see Mudryk play in that position, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also understandable because Christian Pulisic coming back, he need meanings. We know how instrumental he can be. We know how direct he is, and we know the threat that he brings to Chelsea. So overall, my only disappointment with the lineup is not seeing Mudryk start. I think a run of games will help him to get his confidence, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
also optimistic that Christian Pulisic should bring the needed
No,
fireworks.
he would do a good job, but there's still a question. If Everton defends deep, then Pulisic has a problem. But I give him credit because on his day, when he's on his day, he can take on the opposition. He doesn't shy away from taking out opposition players and driving with the ball, no matter how many players he has trying to stop him. But that's, by the way, I want to start asking you a question. The two sixes. Look at here. If you can see the Everton lineup, they have three recognized defensive midfield players playing in that midfield. And that plus the fact they're playing with the back four, plus they're going to defend deep. So this is not going to be easy. That's why I would have loved to see Nani Madueke. You could say he's one of the better dribblers we have on the team in the squad right now. I would have loved to see him. I wouldn't have loved to see Ziyech. He'd be useless in this game, given how deep I believe. If they do anything differently, I'd be surprised how deep I believe Everton will sit. But my question is the two sixes and against this three recognized strong, powerful, and quick. But you could say a warrior like sixes. The three of them, 1, 2, 3. You know them quite well and know they are traditionally DMs. Your thoughts? Do you think we should have mixed these up a bit, but at least bringing in Dennis Zakaria, because I believe the question is not about his fitness right now. The question is about what Graham Potter likes to do, how he likes the type of players he likes to deploy in the 2-6 position. But your thoughts? To me, it's concerning, really.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a big concern for us looking at the steel and the physicality that midfielders like Dukouri, Idrissa Gana Gueye, and Onana brings to the middle of the park. You want guys in your midfield that's able to compete physically, put in the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to break down Everton's midfield. But we have to be realistic. Chelsea were trying to build momentum. And to build momentum, it's about keeping the winning team together. I think Fernandez and Kovacic have looked good together recently. They're building chemistry. Kovacic looks more assured playing alongside Fernandez. So breaking up that pivot will have been, very kind of tricky. And who do you bring in to add more steel to the midfield? Do we sacrifice one of the back three? Do we sacrificing the back three means that we're going to be changing shape again? I look at a
Mm-hmm.
statistic recently. Chelsea have performed better using a back three than other systems. We have picked up more points. So that means that the kind of players that we have playing with a back three is the best option for any coach right now. So that means we're going to have to settle for playing with a double pivot in midfield, and that's Fernandez and Kovacic right now. But I think Fernandez has been very good since he joined this team. I don't think a lot of people recognize that. He brings a different kind of profile to our midfield than Jorginho did, and I think it's going to be very instrumental to us going forward and getting the job done today. Not to underestimate Everton, because we know Everton versus Chelsea is always an intriguing game, but I think we're in the right moment. We're building the right momentum, and I think today we're going to be able to get the 3 points regardless.
Yeah, the two teams are pretty much in the forms are pretty much equal. If you look at it, they've lost two, we've lost two, we've won three. The only difference is they drew one, but they won two also. And another difference, clear difference, is that we've won three consecutive games in a row. For them, they've lost one, drew one, and won one. And head to head, yeah, something you mentioned shows it's pretty, head to head is pretty much balanced. We've won 14, they've won 10, we drew six. And the last five games, it's been they win, we win. We won, they beat us home in December 12th, 2020, and then we beat them at home in March 8th, 2021, and then 1-1 draw, and then they beat us. You see, it's pretty much balanced. Hopefully that have changed. And I'm even more concerned given how Sean Dyche prepares his team. It doesn't have to be pretty. They will do all they can to unsettle our team physicality wise, and I'm concerned because here's the thing. Something, Daniel, something I wanted to say to you here is this: Enzo Fernandez and Mateo Kovacic, they are excellent offensively. The interplays between the two of them, it's been excellent, but defensively, they are practically non-existent. They don't opportunity like something I've explained before, but I'm going to do that again. We seem to only recover the ball or get the ball from the opponent once they get to our defense. Our midfielders has not been that helpful in terms of stopping the opponent. Or we also do get the ball from the flanks because usually you see Fofana and James double up on players, or whoever that's on the left here double up on the player coming from the flanks. But centrally, we've had serious issues. But let's see how the selection pans out today, because I would have loved a balance, a combo of either Kovacic or Enzo Fernandez with Denis Zakaria or N'Golo Kante, even it depends on how fit it is. But let's see. I should have played a 3-5-2 today with Enzo, Kova, and Zakaria in the midfield, just to have a stronger midfield, because I'm still scared of this three here. Idrissa Gana Gueye, Abdullahi Dokore, and Amadou or Nana. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to deal with them. Let's see. You should not have said that. Kuchela is a massive KK fan. He will passionately defend KK, but from an objective, again, I'm always objective when I do that, and good reasons. Potter should start giving Modric consistent minutes to boost his confidence and team play. Why Pulisic? I don't know. Pulisic, I believe, on his good day, he would do a good enough job. Like I've always said, one thing you always get from Pulisic is that he will always make good runs in behind the opposition defense. But will he see that space today? That's the question. Yeah, he will always make good runs into the box, and in most cases, arrive late in the box. And if you can get the ball to him 10, you can say at least on his day, 6 times out of 10, he puts it away. But he hasn't been able to do that consistently. But I am really concerned because there will be no space for him to run in behind. Maybe Graham Potter trusts his ability to take on opposition players. I don't know if that's the case. We'll see what happens. I would have rested Enzo today. I would have rested either Enzo or Kovacic, and then start a pairing of either of the two with Denis Zakaria. But I think more likely Kovacic would have been rested because Enzo is the better creator of the two. Graham Potter likes the combination there. Everton's physicality scare me. Oh yeah, tell me about it. I'm there already. I'm seriously concerned. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to deal with that. We are a back three team. To play a back four, we need a CDM. Some good argument there. I don't get that as well. I'm a bit confused. We need to score early. Yep, it's natural in every game. The more the game progresses, the more the opponent grows into confidence, especially we're at home today. Everton will pack the bus. They will pack double-decker bus, actually. And we've struggled to break down teams since the start of the season. We finally have creativity in Enzo. Let's hope that he opens up the channels and releases the wingers. We don't have wingers here. In this case, we have three forwards: center forward, left forward, right forward. And I'm really not sure how we're going to be able to, given this structure. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to deal with them. We need to score in the first half and keep the lead. Then play counter attack with Mudryk static on the left in the second half. Yeah, maybe if we score, we need to score first and as soon as possible to get them to come out. Otherwise, they will sit deep, and they know quite well as the game progresses, if we don't have a goal, we will get even more frustrated. And here's something someone else says here, something about us. Let me see if that's the one struggle. Yeah, we struggle to break down teams. And part of that team, the struggle to break our team, Pulisic was part of that team. So I would have tried something. Maybe Graham Potter isn't well acquainted with this, with the fact that we've struggled to break down teams. Maybe Noni Madueke, who's good at carrying the ball and driving at the opposition, I think he's a better dribbler than Pulisic. That's my argument. Maybe he would have done better for us, but let's see what happens. We don't know what the manager, why they're selected. He's the one that trains with these players on the training pitch every day. Let's see. Big up, coach. Let's see how I'm good. Thank you so much for finding time to join the show. I enjoy interacting with you guys. We don't have too many panelists. Everybody's busy, so that's fine. We'll roll solo. I've shared the link, so if anybody has time, if not, it's still good. I had a feeling that Mudryk wouldn't start. You did say that, and Pulisic would, and I think Bobby Fairview did mention Pulisic starting this one, but he wasn't certain because he didn't trust Potter to do what he feels is right. The thing is, starting Pulisic against a physical team makes it extremely likely for another injury. Wow, that's a scary argument. If anything, I'm asking the question: how is he going to do against a low block? Let's see. I'm not well acquainted with his record of dealing with low blocks. The Everton formation is wild. Yep. 4-5-1. With not the formation is the list of my concerns. What startles me the most, what surprised the most, is he's playing with three defensive midfielders, three recognized defensive midfielders. Correct me if I'm wrong. Decore can play. Can play as a defensive midfielder. I'm not, but I think he's a defensive midfielder. Idrissa Gana Goye, he's a defensive midfielder, a well-drilled one. Everybody knows that. Onana also, even though he applies himself sometimes as a box-to-box midfielder, I think he's a defensive midfielder. So those are three defensively minded players. If that makes sense. So yeah, but I'm concerned as to how we're still going to deal with them. Yes, people, 23 likes. We should be doing better than that. If you haven't, please do take a second, drop a like on the stream, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And don't forget, we have a watch along show today. And also don't forget, we have a membership. It costs $2.99. If you want to become a member, fine. If you cannot afford it, that's fine. You're still a valuable member of the Trusted Perspective community, and your comments do matter. Never would wish any injury on any player, but you're being factual. You're being factual. If that's yeah. But Pulisic is constantly getting the sticks like Hazard did. He should be protected a bit against physical teams. Let's see why Graham Potter selected him. I'm not sure. I will go quickly to visit 7-Up shop. I need to pick up something. I will join stream a bit later. No problem, bro. It's no obligation, but thank you for finding the time to join. I am not sure what to say. You're being greedy right now. Let's get a win first. Let's get a 1-0 win. I'll take it. Let's get a 2-1 win. I would take it, really. But I don't know. I seriously do not know about a 7-0 win from our team. Let's see what happens there. Modric also demonstrated he's not good enough centrally. He's a winger, and wingers are redundant with wing backs. Yep, it doesn't make any sort of sense. It's not hard, folks. It's not difficult to figure out. Because here is it. With this structure here, just to be fact, these guys has to come in a bit because they've been deployed as forward. This role, by definition, the wing backs, it's defined. They have this channel to operate. So if you play with wingers who tend to drift out to the flanks, then the roles will overlap, and the wing back will be useless. So it wouldn't make any sort of sense. And thank you so much for explaining that, Bobby. But still, he needs to find a way to make a Modric and all the wingers we signed work. Otherwise, it will be a waste of nearly 200 million, if that makes sense. And so let's see how they operate. To me, Modric wasn't that bad the last time. I think he had the space. Maybe the space made a difference. And maybe Graham Potter doesn't trust him to be effective without lots of spaces to exploit. And we're not going to see that today. I'd be surprised if the game starts and we see Everton leave lots of spaces for our players to exploit. So let's see. Yes, the Saints equalize Spurs in the CWH. That's a good result for us. We want all those above us and on the table to start dropping points. Let me see the result. Quickly, just give me a second there. Okay, 1-1. Okay, let's see. Oh, 3-3 draw. Wow, that's a goals galore. Southampton 3, Tottenham 3. Wow, that's some game. I missed that one. And here we have the choking Cockers. Yeah, I get that. Everton's low block will be hard to break. 3 defensive midfielders. I see many cards in this game. 1-0 Chelsea win. I'll take that. John Kasongo, thank you so much. John Kasongo, it looks like this is your first time here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if it's not, apologies. Maybe you've not been participating that much in the chat. Welcome, bro. Feel at home. Let's see. Good point there. We will see a low block, which is going to be difficult to break down. But I hope we're capable of doing that. He's a Modric case, but he's being factual. He's not saying Modric is a bad player, but he's highlighted some important points as to why he thinks he's not starting. Modric is traditionally a winger, and with this structure, the wing backs have the channels to operate. If you play a winger who drifts to the channels where the wing backs should be operating, the roles will overlap, and then it will be useless playing with wing backs, if that makes sense. So I get you. Let's look at, for those of you who weren't here when we looked at the inside, we're going to go through it again. And looking at the inside will give us a clue not certainly what the outcome of the game would be, but we'll be able to get a clue of what we think, given the numbers we're looking at, the outcome will be here. Good thing they're missing Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's not the most flamboyant player, but he's a good finisher on his day, and he's good aerially. So with that, less of their aerial power. We're ranked 13th in goals scored. One goal. We're very averaging less than one goal per game. We're ranked fourth in goals conceded. That's really not good per match. At least one goal per game. Ranked 11th in shots on target per match, 4 shots per target. And for Everton, they're ranked 18th in goals scored. We're far better than them in that aspect. And Everton haven't won an away game in the last 11 matches. So that's the point. This is a particular point I want you to pay attention to. They are away, and we are home. And the fact that they haven't won an away game in their last 11 makes it more likely that no matter how badly we play today, I think the least that could happen is we come out with a draw. But let's see what happens there. And they have scored 4 goals in their last 5 games. I think we scored more than that in less games, actually. And Wally Waldo, my bro, always nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. Please do let me know how are you doing. I am actually glad Mount is still injured, to be honest. Harsh to say, but we play miles better without him. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. But how about the argument if he's in the team would do a lot better with him in the team? There's a strong argument with that. What if he comes back and is in good form? I showed the form he showed at times where he was the one that helped us make it tough for without a final free kick against Wolves and all that. The goal against Real Madrid in the second leg in the UEFA Champions League semi-final stages and all that. What if he starts showing that form? They would be a better team with him, whether he starts or not. But I get where your argument is coming from. Kante on the bench is such a positive side. We haven't seen this man since August of last year. And I'm happy that he went under the knife. That goes a long way. Him going under the knife means he wanted to deal with the situation permanently. Yeah, and I'm happy the French national team because that was pre-World Cup. I'm glad they didn't push him to just manage it, get injections and all that. Through the World Cup. I'm glad he went under the knife, and probably I hope he's corrected at the situation permanently. Kochila, you make a good observation about Felix. Watch how hard he will make Kai work today. I wouldn't have started him, like I said. I have Roger in the house, and Roger, sorry I haven't reached out. I was going to reach out to make sure you'll be okay. But my point is, okay, maybe after the pregame show, if you don't, then I have to reach out and see how you're doing, my good friend. But more importantly, I hope you're okay, Roger.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you too, brother. Good afternoon, sir. You so American, you don't sound British because I know it's America here. Always telling people, sir. But that's by the way. Roger, the question I want to ask you: you've seen the lineup. Would you have done anything differently?
Personally, yes. I probably would have put Madueke in there, and I'm not sure.
And if you want to start Madueke, why?
More physicality. If you notice, I think Pulisic played 10 minutes last game, and within the first couple of minutes, go back and watch it. He's pushed off the ball immediately. Completely no upper body strength. He's not suited for this league for the most part. You know, especially in low blocks, he's just not. This is a physical league, and he doesn't fit it. He's a good player, and he's very similar to Werner, where he needs space behind down the channels to be effective. And a lot of these games, that is not the case, unfortunately, especially when they play against a top 6 team. I'm a bit. Mudryk, he would have played probably, if you remember the last game we played, he played in the centre for the first half, so he wasn't even playing down the wing for them. You know, don't forget that the front eight pick themselves for the most point, with the exception of N'Golo now coming back. But then the front three, because they're so fluid, they're very interchangeable. So it doesn't really matter who you pick for the most part with these players, because they end up, like you would think Havertz would have played in the centre last game. Well, the first 45 minutes, he was on the right-hand side for the most part. It was Mudryk down the centre. So I'm a little bit concerned about, I forgot his name, the centre midfielder. Let's have a look at his name.
You mean Enzo and Kovacic?
Not Kovacic. It's the other chap that we have on loan. I forgot his name.
Oh, Zakaria.
Yeah, Zakaria. I wanted him to start probably, because of the physicality. That they listen. They've probably got a 4-5-1 or 4-4-2.
Do you see that? Just in case if you haven't seen it, do you see that? Three defensive midfielders, and they're all very physical.
And this is their coach's DNA. You know, this is what he does. Sean Dyche, yeah, this is what he does. He knows how to win in this league. It's pragmatic to the 10th degree, obviously, not exactly expansive football. And the other reason why I think he chose Pulisic, the main reason is because, as I said before, he seems to be picking his more experienced players. Because if you have a look at Mudryk and Madueke, that they have been complicit in us conceding goals for them not tracking back or ball watching, because it's their roles are multifaceted. It's just not going forward. It's also the defensive part of it, and they're
not doing that very well. You're talking about the 2-6s, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about well, they're a major issue defensively, but I'm talking about Madueke and Mudryk. They have conceded goals where they didn't track back or they were ball watching, and they're new to this league and they're new to the formations, so this is to be expected. This is why younger players, even though they're probably physically superior and faster, etc., but they make more mental mistakes. And usually coaches, when they're under pressure, what do they invariably do? They revert back to the more experienced players because they eliminate or reduce mental errors, because they've been there, done it. And it looks like that this manager is yet again choosing a more experienced side, with the exception
and it has been working for him.
Yeah, no, to his credit, it has. I personally wouldn't have picked Pulisic, but I understand why. But he's going to have to prove himself. He's yet to prove it to me this year, yet again.
I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain before, again, hopefully it's not a tapping for you. Because
it's never a tapping for me.
You and I think alike in so many cases. Here's the thing. Hopefully, no, I'm not taking your points and then tap it in and then leave you with nothing to say. These two guys, offensively, they've been delicious to watch. The interplays between them in most cases has been nice. Offensively, you could say they've been near perfect. But defensively, they're practically non-existent. And if you paid attention even to the 3 games we've won, majority of the times that we win back the ball, the opposition are already at our defense. We win the ball on the flanks or on the right-hand side, where Fofana and James are able to team up on a player, or where the left centre-back player and the left wing-back player are able to team up on a player. But centrally, these two guys, they just bypass them. Do you see how Leicester were enjoying passes in the midfield, and they were not just passing sideways, they were passing between our 2-6s. Now you could say, could argue, is down to the lack of coordination for the pressing. These 2-6s working together with the front 3, because they should be part of the pressing aspect too. They start the pressing, and these guys will now, the 2-6s will now be able to read the game and try to cut out the passing lane, or maybe try to stop the guy who's available for the ball. But Leicester, actually, they lost the game. We beat them fair and square, but boy, they were able to do whatever they want in the midfield area. So we also do leave spaces in front of this front 3, that if they have good shooters, what's his name? Decore can shoot from outside the 18. Goya, I know Idrissa Goya can also shoot from outside the 18. So we have a problem here. Plus, I don't think we can match them physicality for physicality. Maybe skills, technicality-wise, we're better off. But I'm concerned. Your thoughts, Roger?
They make it interesting, don't they? No, you're right. No, you're right. You're completely 100% correct. I think it's a combination of multiple things. One, I don't think either of them are blessed with reading the game that well. And Enzo is very young. Now, Kovacic, he's not a deep-lying defensive midfielder. You know, he's a box to box.
We made him that. We turned him into a hybrid of 8 and 6.
Exactly. Bingo. Voila. It's exactly what
Did I tap in? Or?
Yeah, no, seriously. Actually, it was the ball was on the line, mate.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's the truth. It's and Enzo is caught upfield more. It's and listen, I've said this from day one. We look completely different without a certain N'Golo. We always have had since he arrived at this club from Leicester. You know, and he exposes our deficiencies defensively when he doesn't play. We are a completely different side. So we need to take that into consideration. I'm glad that N'Golo's not starting. I was quite worried that he may even start him. Thankfully, he didn't. Obviously,
we need to be gradual.
Yeah, very gradual. And as in, I don't want to see him come on before the 70th minute. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and something else I want to say before. Yeah, go ahead.
In the middle, I think we're going to play a hybrid more. I think you're going to see James, you know, come into the 3 to compensate for it. I think, and actually, I was suspecting possibly Hall to start instead of Chilwell to vacate that to play.
And Hall isn't actually even on the bench.
No, he's not. No, I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that I suspected potentially he may fit that position quite well because of you know, his MO. But so I think if Chilwell goes forward a lot, I think you may see Reece tuck into midfield a bit more to compensate. You know, a hybrid role where we're very fluid, out of possession as opposed to in. Let's see how that goes. But on paper, without being fluid, we're definitely suspect in the middle of the park. Definitely.
We are. And let's get what we have in the chat. Some of the discussion I wanted to have there. All of our players were out of form. Many have come back recently. We should give Mount a chance. There's no other player in the squad with his package. But here's the thing. He's out injured. That's the thing. He's out injured. Because the rumors swelling up this morning is that he's on the verge of joining Liverpool. I'm not sure whether to trust her or not. Sorry, Roger, you were saying something.
Yeah, something about he's got a pubic bone issue. So, you know.
that's serious. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, it's going to take weeks for him to recover, apparently. So, but then again, we've got a person called Gallagher who I think stylistically is identical to him in many ways, many facets. I see them as being quite identical in their application. So we always have Gallagher to bounce on. If we do need someone with industry, we can always revert to him. Yeah,
and when that discussion comes back to what I hate whenever we talk about Mason Mount, it's all about Gallagher's industry, right? I freaking hate that.
Well,
I get where you're coming from.
But it's needed, though. This isn't, with all due respect.
It's important.
It's important. This league is very high tempo. It's needed. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
It is, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be paying attention to what more a player can provide. Coach them very well to be better players.
Checkmate. I agree.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that industry is part of a person's profile portfolio because of this league's identity, because of the fast pace, the physicality.
Yeah. The problem is stereotyping the player and not looking beyond that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. What did you think about Ruben not playing? I thought Ruben may take a part.
I'm okay with that because if Ruben comes in, which means James will be out. And essentially, I'd rather this two than Ruben being the parent there. Look, give the guy a chance in the eighth position. I don't know when that is going to happen.
Well,
is he even on the bench? He's on the bench. Yeah, go ahead.
I was actually thinking instead of Pulisic, to be honest with you.
He can play there, and he knows how to put in good crosses.
Exactly, and he's physical.
Yeah,
he's big. He knows how to defend, obviously. So I was thinking instead of Pulisic, I would rather have Ruben there because of the opposition, nothing else.
But why Pulisic though? It doesn't make sense against a very physical opposition side.
Because of his experience. So it's a
okay. I think you said that before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a leading indicator. When a coach/manager is under the thumb, they revert back to experienced players time and time again because they can't depend on inexperience. And I get it. I understand it. I would probably do the same thing, coach. And I'm sure we would consider it as a major indicator because they're able to recognize what's transpiring. Where the youth, they have an incredible amount of energy, tenacity. They're not scared, etc. They have the advantages, but they're also not able to look back in the memory banks and understand what's transpiring. And that's where errors occur.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Dan, if you're watching, if you want to come in anytime with any point, we have about we're going to stop 5 minutes. Stop 5 minutes on time so that I can prepare for the watch along show. The FA and the Premier League has to do something about the refs. They are horrible. I think they have to. Otherwise, they start getting good reputation, bad reputation from FIFA. They really have to do something. Where's Zakaria? On the bench. If you look, you'll see him. Experience wins you games. That's the truth. We have depth on top of depth. We shouldn't be losing games at all, in my opinion. Some argument there. You can walk through our midfield. That's where I have a concern. Yep. Offensively, we're excellent, but defensively, they're practically non-existent. Listening to Coachella makes me realize how much we are a sitting dogs. I'm going to start making you stop thinking that. Excuse me. It is the history of the Tottenham. Has the game ended and what's the result? We had numerous occasions where Leicester ran through our midfield with Kovacic sometimes up the pitch and Enzo behind, isolated. I hope Everton don't exploit that. You guessed it, they would do that, coach. Watch along, immediately after this. Big up Kashan, the New York guy. Pulisic tracks back. I give him that. But in this game, do we really need tracking back? We need to be as offensive as possible. If anything, I would have loved the 2-6s to be able to read the game and not leave us exposed to counter-attacks. But,
Coach,
go ahead,
can
brother.
I just say, another person that I would have put possibly instead of him would have been Carney Chucklemaker. I know he's young, very young, but his energy and his physicality and his technical ability on the ball, I think he would have suited this game more than most, if any.
Yeah, to me, from my perspective, I know he's a fine player. I've seen the little he can do. I think he can play as an 8, but his ability to adapt to physical situation, I'm not too. I can't just say I know, but I know
we don't have a large sampling size. We don't have a large sampling size. I agree, but everything I have seen of him, I've been very impressed, especially when I've watched a couple of games when he played for Villa. And he looked bloody good. And when we acquired him, I was very pleased indeed. I think
he stays. I think very soon we'll start to seeing him a lot.
I hope so, coach.
I don't have too much question about the man taking it, the manager taking it gradually. But I get your argument. You would have started him over Pulisic. But as a right forward, maybe that's where the problem lies. Maybe if we're playing with 2 8s, where the formation is 3-4-2-1, then he comes in as one of the 2 8s.
Sure.
But maybe I'm not sure. But I get your point. I am interested in seeing how Felix and Pulisic work. Let's see, they're both in opposite positions, but it's still a fluid approach. So it makes sense. We can see that Pulisic will buy us a lot of free kicks in dangerous areas. He's our crash test dummy.
Oh, ouch. That's great.
Yeah, you have to be very nice. Does Ruben actually get into this team? Yeah, he has a place in this team. He's whenever he plays in the right back position, he executes the role very well. Considering everyone being on top of course, yeah, I get where you're coming. Chelsea has to be on their A game tonight to underrating. Everton is unpredictable at times. All the time they are unpredictable, especially on the Sean Dyche. This is the team core I want to see until mid-April. Ruben Loftus-Cheek comes in for squad depth during that period. Good argument. Pulisic is the only one fit inside left forward we have. That's a solid argument as to why he's starting. I was up, you two. I hope you're doing well. And physical games like this, you pair Zakaria with Ruben. Yeah, but you lose something. Zakaria with Ruben, you lose the creativity that Enzo provides. So yeah, it's not about, you have to be, just one of them has to start. I get it. If Kovacic start, then we lose the creativity. That is the chance creation we get from Enzo. Sometimes goals, because he hasn't gotten one for us, but he has eyes for goals, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wouldn't say
But
start
also-
Ruben
also
Loftus-Cheek. Yeah.
Also,
go ahead.
he provides leadership, coach, and this is an intangible that you can't measure on statistics. He calms players
that's
down.
the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. With that, guys, I want to say thank you to Roger. If you're not following Roger, you can see his handle at Roger Pop, spelled ROGERPUPP at Roger Pop. Go follow him on Twitter. Make sure that's at least that's the way we can appreciate his delicious contributions. He doesn't earn anything from this. Maybe I owe him. I don't know.
Not at all.
But big up to Roger, big up to Emmanuel, big up to Daniel Harris for finding the time to join the show, and thank you to everyone in the chat, from Neum to Luis Rivera, Bobby Fairview, every other person, Chimera, the beautiful game, Kishon, the New York guys. See you guys on the other side for the Watch Along show. Thank you so much. God bless us all, and bye.
Enjoy, coach.
Thank you, brother.